Good morning, beloveds. It is December 7th. Oh, and our title is A Light is in Every Man, and I Behold It. And the quote is, "Let all mankind be thy sect." And that is Addie Granth Jupiju, Japuji 28 M.1. I have no idea what that's from. I've been using a lot of odd quotes lately. All right. Humanity is divinity made visible. We are good people in the spirit, in the sight of our Creator. Knowing this, I see my neighbor as part of the divine plan for all. Their ideas may not be mine, but they are right for them. I may not agree with the outer person, but I must agree with the inner one. In them is the spirit of truth, the need for self-expression, and the vision of what I'm very confused this morning. I'm sorry. I may not agree with the outer person, but I must agree with the inner one. In them is the spirit of truth, the need for self-expression, and the vision of what they can become. This I respect, and this I value. I no longer try to make them in my image and likeness. I now realize that their individuality is of God, and I adjust my thinking to this premise. A light born of love burns within them, and I cross the bridge of human opinions and embrace them as a child of God. There is a goodness in my fellow human that needs my recognition. They are hungry for someone to see them as they really are. They need my spiritual perception of their innate kindliness, and I now look for every slight indication of good in humanity and praise it. In the midst of them is the Spirit, and I now see its many modes of expression. I appreciate and bless everyone I know. Family, friends, and co-workers are God's means of peopling my world with love. No more need to be on guard. I lovingly and joyously accept every person as God made manifest. No one can harm me. No one can take from me any good. Others make me whole and loving. God in me reaches out to the highest and best in everyone I know. Friendship and understanding await me in my home, in my place of business, and the neighborhood where I live. People bless me, for they give me so much that I need. The hand of God is in every hand I clasp. I now see a beauty and a wholeness in everyone I know. No mistakes, no injustices, no more suspicions. I let God run its universe, and I let its law take care of all whom I know. I expect the best from my friends. I live in a friendly world, and all people are essentially good. There is a light born of God within people, and I expect this light to bless and benefit me. Today, I release all human judgments. I behold the Christ in people. God is in me, so it's the last line. God is in me, so God is also in everyone I meet. It's been a rough couple of weeks, it's been a rough week. So, I know it's only Monday, but I'm talking about starting last week. So it's been a rough, 7 days. And I'm getting through it, as we all are. All right. The whole point of today is to remind us that each and every living thing is made by God, of God's stuff, and that it is our job to see that, to see the God within, to see the living spirit within each and every person, and to understand that they are an expression of God. They are their own expression of God, and that we really don't have any right to limit that. that they get to choose how they express God, in how they look and how they choose to move through the world, and the decisions that they make, and how they express. And you know and how the world would be a better place if we would get out of each other's business like that. It's like how you present yourself to the world as an expression of God. That's between you and God, and I don't have the right to say anything about that, and religion doesn't have the right to say anything about that, and culture doesn't have the right to say anything about that. So the only obligation that we have is to make sure that no one's being harmed, and how you look doesn't harm me. you know what you choose to do with your life, for the most part, does not harm me. We do live in a community. There are standards, and there are the rules. I'm going to say I'm going to use quotes, the rules of polite society. But for the most part, even the rules of polite society can be a little restrictive. If you're not actively harming somebody or yourself, I don't have any right to dictate to you about how you express yourself. So the title is "There's a Light in Every Person, and I Behold It." That's the job. That's the job. It's to see the spirit within, and to let go of all the cosmetic nonsense. And the quote, again, I don't know where it's from. Let all humankind be thy sect. There is no other. There is no other. We're all one human family. And more to the point, we're all one earthly family, so that we can include every living thing. And I really, it's ADI space GRANTH, comma, JAPUJI 28, comma, M period I. I have no idea what it's from. Okay, so humanity is divinity made visible. Right there. Honestly, life is divinity made visible. Every living thing around us is made of God's stuff. It's made by God. We are good people in the sight of our Creator. Okay, we are good people in the sight of our Creator. Knowing this, I see my neighbor as part of the divine plan for all. Have you seen it put that way? I see my neighbor as part of the divine plan for all. So their ideas may not be mine, but they are right for them. I may not agree with the outer person, but I must agree with the inner one. It's like, I recognize you as a beloved child of God. I may not agree with the choices you make, but as long as you're not harming yourself or anyone else, I need to shut my mouth and let you be you. Let you express God the way you are. And sometimes it's hard. I get it, because people blow our expectations, and it is what it is, and we need to get over it and let people be who they are. In them is the spirit of truth, the need for self-expression, and the vision of what they can become. So they already are showing up with the spirit of truth, the need for self-expression. It's like, if you go back and read in history, how many people just couldn't, because their need for self-expression was squashed. And what happened? It's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And they have their own vision of what they can do and become, and we just need to, get over it. Recognize that's a beloved child of God, and they can express God how they choose, with the only caveat being, as long as they're not harming themselves or anyone else. This I respect, and this I value. I value their their need to express, and I value their willingness to do it. I no longer try to make them in my image and likeness. Because, like, I may carry God within me, but I carry a spark of God within me, a splinter of God within me. I don't have, the world is not made in my image. So I want to let people be who they are. I realize that their individuality is of God, and I adjust my thinking to this premise. A light born of love burns within them, and I cross the bridge of human opinion and embrace them as a child of God. So when you see that wild hair color and those wild tattoos and those wild piercings, which are just some of the examples of, or the way that they dress or the way that they present themselves, it's like, that's a child of God. And we can let go of our human opinions and embrace them for who they are and allow their need for self-expression, because it will make them more fully who they are. And it will allow them to fully express their creativity and allow them to contribute to the world in a way that they might not be able to if they weren't allowed to express themselves. There is a goodness in my fellow human that needs my recognition. They are hungry for someone to see them as they really are. They need our spiritual perception of their innate kindliness. And I now look for every slight indication of God in humanity and praise it. Now, I say this, and that is exactly what we want to do. Because when we meet people that don't look like we expect them to do, we want to see God looking back at us. Now, we also do not want to put ourselves in situations that are unsafe. So just because you are looking for the godliness in them, you are looking for that goodness in them, that does not mean you need to put yourself in direct proximity with them if you do not feel safe. You can do it from over there, all right? Because there are people, but what I have found is that people, the wilder they look, generally, the nicer they are. I mean, the most heavily tattooed people can be really, really nice. And then, these people who wear suits and have haircuts, and they can be downright scary. So, while you are looking for the good in everybody, if you find yourself in a situation that is unsafe, then please feel free to continue to look for the good in them from a safe distance, all right? Do not put yourself in an unsafe situation looking for the goodness in a person. That is frequently what gets, especially women, into abusive situations and makes it hard for women to get out. So I'm telling you this clear and loud and clear, all right? We always look for the good in people, but we do not put ourselves in unsafe situations to do it. All right. In the midst of them is the Spirit, and I now see it in its many modes of expression. I appreciate and bless everyone I know. Friends, family, friends, and coworkers are God's means of peopling my world with love. No more need to be on guard. I lovingly and joyously accept every person as God made manifest. If we could get past the appearances, this world would be a better place. No one can harm me. No one can take from me any good. Others make me whole and loving. God in me reaches out to the highest and best in everyone. God in me reaches out to the highest and best in everyone. When we follow our godly nature, our loving nature, our joyous nature, our creative nature, then people respond to us that way. People respond to us that way. So it's like, try it. You might like it. Friendship and understanding await me in my home, my place of business, and the neighborhood where I live. People bless me, for they give me so much that I need. The hand of God is in every hand I clasp, which is an interesting way to think about it. It's like, yes, every being you meet is a beloved child of God. You will never look in the eyes of someone God does not love. No mistakes, no injustices, no more suspicions. I let God run God's universe, and I let God's law take care of all of whom I know. And we mean that on multiple levels. So it's like the good and the, well, the long arm of, what is it? The long arm of justice, the long arm of the law trends towards justice. It's like we can work for it, but we don't have to get all up in there. We just have to be loving, kind, compassionate, creative, all the qualities of God. And we'll get there. We'll get there. I expect the best from my friends. I live in a friendly world, and all people are essentially good. Ooh, say that to yourself out loud. All people are essentially good. What Reverend Jesse has said is that even the most horrible things that have been done are done by people looking for their good. So, and that'll set you back on your heels when you think about the horrible things that people have done. It was people looking for their good. They just had a twisted idea of what their good is. So it's like when we meet people like that, well, one, don't subject ourselves to them, but treat to know that they remember who they are and that they find a way to get their good without harming other people. There is a light born of God within all people, and I expect this light to bless and benefit me. Today, I release all human judgments. I behold the Christ in humanity. God is in me, so God is also in everyone I meet. All right. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to release all human judgments. It's to let people be the expressions that they are. To let them express God as they're moved to, as they're called to, as they need to. Because when we do that, we are more in alignment with the qualities of God, and they come into alignment within the qualities of God. Let people be who they are. Let people be who they are. All right, beloveds. I also, as always, encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. I went to bed early last night. That was my loving, kind, and compassionate thing, because yesterday was a rough day. I know I have a cat who is nearing the end of his time with us, and yesterday was hard. I don't know what we're waiting for exactly on the signal. So, but, it is what it is. It's that managing the quality of life. So whatever your loving, kind, compassionate thing is, please do. So that when you end up in situations like I am right now, you can be gentle with yourself. You can be gentle with yourself. There's our center needs that right now for us to be gentle with ourselves and with each other. And that was one of the things that Reverend Marshall was really good at, being gentle with you while still calling you on your stuff. So please do that. All right. I would also encourage you to engage your mind and your body. I encourage you to, I can't encourage you to go get a face full of sun in my location because it's very cloudy out there. But go get some early morning light. Drink plenty of water. Take care of yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven. Right here, right now. It's all around us. And the way we find it is to look for the good and praise it. Because the more we look, the more we see, the more there is. That's the way it multiplies. And by allowing people to express who they are so they give us the same grace to allow us to express ourselves just exactly how we are and who we are. Because we're all beloved children of God. All of us. All of us. All right. It is Tuesday night. I don't know that there's anything going on in particular. So if you haven't signed up on the Constant Contact email info@creativelife.org, get on that mailing list, and that way you'll know what's going on when I don't. And have a great day. And if you can't have a great day, have a good day. And if that's too much pressure, have a good day. Have a day. Have a day. Because you are a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased, always and forever. You are loved. All right, I'm going to move into the process of my day. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you, right here on Facebook Live. I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. I'm endeavoring to catch up on my YouTube channel, so, feel free to check me out on the social medias as the Running Rev Ryan, including YouTube. Gabby's in here telling me about it. And we are Creative Life Spiritual Center on YouTube, so if you want to go see any old content, and I know there's a couple of places where Reverend Marcia is in there. She resisted me videoing her, but there's at least one time where we introduced the Prax, and she was part of that. I think that one's in the special events tabs, for sure. I'm not sure where else it is. So there's at least one video, and we're looking at getting some more content up for her on YouTube. All right, beloveds. Take care of yourself. Know that you're loved, and I'll see you next time.